Hello everyone, my name is Tashay Crawford and I'm making this video because I had a couple encounters with the Lord that I would love to share with you guys and see who else He can help out, in life because the time is near that we have to get close to the Lord. My very first encounter with the Lord is when I was about 14 years old. Me, my mom, my grandmother, my siblings, my cousin, like we all lived in a one bedroom apartment. And we had like two set of bunk beds inside one room. And my mom and my baby brother at the time, they slept in the living room in a pull-out bed. So I had a dream that there was music, a really, really loud music that was playing from in the living room. And as I got up, I looked around and everyone was still sleeping. And I was wondering why wasn't, anyone else up but me listening to this loud music. So as I walked out of the room, I walked into the living room and it was the brightest light ever that was shining throughout the front door. And I looked at my mom and my baby brother that was sleeping and they didn't budge a bit. And I was like, how in the world are they not listening to this music? Like, how is it not waking them up? And as I looked at the door, there was a beaming light coming through the door. And as I looked through it, there was like a row of angels each side of the door. There were a row of angels. And each angel had a different instrument. Mind you, at the time, I didn't know too much about these things. I knew about God, but I didn't know like much about any other thing. But these angels were playing music, different instruments. They were playing music. And at the very end of the line with the angels, there was this one angel that was sitting down playing a harp. And I was scared out of my mind. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what to do. And I kept turning around and I kept looking at my mom to see if she was going to wake up, and she still didn't wake up yet. So through this beaming light and it walking through the middle of the row of the angels, there was a man that walked up and he looked at me and I was so scared. And he looked at me and he smiled and he told me to take his hand. And growing up, my mom always told me, do not go with anyone you don't know. Don't go with strangers. Like, she preached it day and night. Do not go with anyone you don't know. And like physically, I didn't know this man. But it's like spiritually, I knew exactly who he was. And he held out his hand and he told me, it's okay. Trust me. And I look back at my mom and I'm like, oh my goodness, if I go with this man and she finds out, she will beat the mess out of me. But I'm like, it's something about this man that I trust. And he looked at me and he said, it's okay. He laughed. He said, it's okay. Come with me. And he held out his hand. And I closed my eyes as tight as I could. And I felt his hand grab mine. And he pulled me through the white light. And I woke up in tears. I was sweating. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do. And my grandmother, who was laying right next to me, she told me what happened. I said, I just had a bad dream. I had a bad dream. And she said, well, what happened? And I'm like, I couldn't even explain it to her. But she told me, pray. She said, just pray. It's going to be okay. Just pray. So the only prayer that I really remember saying was, not that laid me down to sleep. I prayed the Lord my soul to keep. So I prayed it and prayed it and prayed it until I fell back asleep. And, I feel like that was the first, encounter I ever had with the Lord. But he was telling me at such a young age to come to him. And again, I didn't understand it because I felt like this dream was a nightmare. But as I thought and thought and thought, I said it wasn't a nightmare because it was nothing scary about it. I just didn't understand it. That's why I was so scared. But I went to school the next day and I was in the 9th grade in high school, just got in high school, and I was telling my friends about it. Some laughed and then some was like, well, what I was told, if you have a bad dream, you're supposed to go to the toilet, kneel down at the toilet, say your prayer, the dream over the toilet, and then flush it down the drain, which is ridiculous. But I did it because, of course, I didn't know what to do. I just didn't want to have that dream anymore because I felt like it was a nightmare. So Again, it still didn't do anything for me. So a week or two later, yeah, I fell asleep. And this dream was very interesting because I was out somewhere and I kept hearing this extremely loud horn. It was really, really loud. Then I see everyone look up at the sky and I seen heaven in the sky and the world was ending. Again, I was 14 years old. Now I'm 34. And people were running everywhere. They didn't know what to do, they didn't know anything. I looked around and I see people robbing on the street. They were killing each other. It was even people raping people on the side of the road. It was crazy. It was scary. And I remember I walked up to the gates and an angel was standing there. He was really big. And he had a huge book in front of him. And he was like, and what is your name? And I told him my name. And he was like, oh, there's your name right there. Here you go. So he gave me like, it was like a stick to have proof to let me in the gates. So as I walked towards the gates to go in the gates, I said, wait, wait. My mom, my grandmother and my baby brother is at home. Could I go get them? Because they don't know what's going on. And the angel was like, yes, but the gates are soon going to close. So get them before the gates close. I said, okay. So I ran as fast as I can. I got home and I'm like, Mom, let's go, let's go. The world is ending and the gates are about to close. They told me I can go and get you. And Michael, let's go. She says, okay. But as I'm running, I'm holding my baby brother and I'm holding my grandma by my other arm and I'm kind of dragging her because she's old. And I felt a tug and the tug kind of took me off my feet and I fell. And as I looked, it was a demon. Like demons were snatching people from the ground. Like they were coming up from the ground and snatching people down, into hell. And they had my grandmother's feet. And I screamed and I said, let her go, let her go. I'm not going nowhere without her. Let her go, let her go. And me and this demon, it's like, if he wanted to, he could have just, in one tiny pull, snatched her out of my arm. And what he was doing is trying to torment me with my grandmother because my grandma was like the nicest person I've ever known. And I said, no, you cannot have her. You cannot have her. But my grandma looked at me with the softest voice and she said, baby, go. It's okay. Go. I will be okay. Go. And I said, no, Mom, I'm not leaving you. I don't care. I'm not leaving you. And she said, go. And she let my hand go. And when she let my hand go, the demon laughed at me and he pulled her down. And I sat there and I bawled crying, like holding my baby brother. And I cried and cried and cried. And I heard that last trumpet blow. And when I heard the last trumpet blow, I started to run because I looked up in the sky and I can see that they're getting ready to close these gates. So I ran up to the gates and they were like, okay, come in, you're good, you're good. And they closed the gates. And of course, I jumped out of my sleep and started crying again. And this time I'm telling my grandma, Ma, I'm tired of having these bad dreams. I don't know what it means. I'm just tired of it. And I don't know why I keep